Today, something has become very clear to me. For a long time, I read Matthew 5-7 as something I was supposed to achieve. I thought Jesus was raising the bar higher and higher, showing me how far I still had to go. But now I see it differently. What Jesus gave in the Sermon on the Mount was not a demand. It was a revelation. He was not telling me how to qualify for the kingdom. He was describing what life looks like when the kingdom has already come inside a person. This changes everything. I now understand that the Sermon on the Mount is not a list of rules for better behavior. It is a picture of inner healing, of inner reordering, of a heart coming back under God's reign. When Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," I no longer hear weakness. I hear freedom. I hear the end of pretending. I hear permission to stop holding myself together. I hear the relief of no longer needing to be my own source. Being poor in spirit is not losing value. It is finally letting go of false independence and allowing God to rule. And when Jesus says, "Blessed are those who mourn," I no longer hear condemnation for sadness. I hear validation. I hear Jesus telling me that feeling pain does not disqualify me. That grief does not make me unspiritual. That honesty before God is not failure. It is the doorway to comfort. The kingdom does not require me to numb myself. It invites me to stay soft, because God himself comes close to what is broken. When Jesus speaks of meekness, I see now that he is healing my need to protect myself. Meekness is not weakness. It is strength that no longer needs to fight for survival. I don't need to defend my worth. I don't need to force outcomes. I don't need to control everything. The kingdom is inherited, not seized. When Jesus talks about hunger and thirst for righteousness, I finally understand that my longing was never the problem. My hunger was always pointing somewhere. I was not meant to starve my desire or fill it with substitutes. I was meant to let God satisfy it. In the kingdom, hunger is not shamed. It is answered. And when Jesus says, "Blessed are the merciful," something deep shifts inside me. I see that mercy is not just how I treat others. It is how I remain aligned with God's nature. Harshness hardens me. Mercy keeps me free. I no longer need to punish myself or others to feel safe. The kingdom does not run on accusation. It runs on restoration. When Jesus speaks of purity of heart, I no longer think of moral perfection. I think of integration. A heart that is no longer divided. A life that is no longer pulled in 10 directions. A mind that is learning to live in truth instead of image. The kingdom simplifies me. And when Jesus calls peacemakers sons of God, I see that the kingdom forms people who carry God's presence into broken spaces. Not by force, not by argument, but by reconciliation. The kingdom does not escalate conflict. It absorbs it and transforms it. Even persecution makes sense to me now. Jesus was not threatening me. He was preparing me. He was telling me that living from truth, love, and inner freedom will not always be understood. But my identity is no longer anchored in approval. The kingdom gives me a center that cannot be shaken. As I move through Matthew 6, I see Jesus doing something very personal. He is healing fear. He is dismantling image-based spirituality. He is removing my need to be seen. He is reparenting my soul. When I say, "Our Father," I am no longer praying to distance. I am coming home. And when Jesus tells me not to worry, I hear him speaking not just to my thoughts, but to my body. He is teaching my nervous system that I am safe, that the Father knows. That provision is not my burden. Seeking the kingdom first is no longer a pressure for me. It is a realignment. I am not ignoring life. I am letting God rule my inner world so that fear no longer does. By the time I reach Matthew 7, I see Jesus bringing everything into integration. He heals judgment. He heals distrust. He heals confusion. He teaches me to ask because the Father is good. He teaches me to build on rock, not by effort, but by alignment. And now, when I look at Paul's writings, I see the same life, just explained from inside. When Paul says, "In Christ," he is naming what Jesus described. Union replaces striving. Sonship replaces survival. The Spirit replaces self-effort. Paul explains how this kingdom life is possible because Christ lives in me. So today, I stand in this revelation with clarity and confidence. The Sermon on the Mount is not crushing me. It is healing me. It is not demanding perfection. It is restoring alignment. The kingdom is not something I am trying to enter. It is something that is being formed within me. I am no longer living from fear. I am learning to live from trust. I am no longer driven by performance. I am grounded in sonship. This is not theory for me anymore. This is reality. This is kingdom life.